Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into a full-stack protocol designed to completely upgrade your life. We're talking about a cohesive, step-by-step journey that takes you from optimizing your foundational biology all the way up to maximizing your career economics. It's a true masterclass on human optimization.
So right off the bat, I've got to ask you, what does it actually take to truly optimize both your brain and your career? We usually treat these things like they're in completely separate buckets, right? But the reality is, true success demands a seamless alignment between the two. We literally have to get our biology in check, completely upgrade the way we learn, and then execute our professional strategies flawlessly.
Here's a quick look at the roadmap for the 3 levels we're tackling today. Level 1 is the body, mastering your biological rhythms. Level 2 is the mind, where we'll explore accelerated learning and AI tutors. And finally, Level 3 is your career, looking at the 30, 60, 90-day plan and how to monetize your skills fast.
Let's kick things off with Level 1. Master your biological rhythms and optimize the body's clocks. Because before we can conquer our careers, we absolutely have to master our internal engines.
Okay, so let's break down the 3 distinct rhythms that are basically running your life behind the scenes. First up, we've got the circadian rhythm, which runs on a strict 24-hour cycle. What's crucial to know here is how the hormone melatonin reacts to light. Roughly 2 hours before you usually go to bed, your melatonin levels start to rise, and this opens up what we call a sleep gate. Think of the sleep gate as your daily biological window of opportunity. If you miss it, you're literally fighting your own chemistry. Then we have infradian rhythms. Those are cycles that take longer than 24 hours, like seasonal shifts. And finally, we have ultradian rhythms, which are the shorter, faster cycles that happen in under 24 hours.
Speaking of those ultradian rhythms, they're constantly at work while we sleep. We don't just pass out evenly, we actually cycle through different stages all night long. We spend a massive chunk, about 75 to 80% of our time, in non-REM sleep. That's where you get those deeply restorative, slow delta waves. But then we shift gears into REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. This is the dreaming phase, and it's wild because your brain waves become super active, almost like you're fully awake. Meanwhile, your central nervous system effectively paralyzes your physical body so you don't act out whatever you're dreaming about. This constant back and forth cycling, that's the ultimate biological engine driving your physical recovery.
Moving right along to Level 2, the science of accelerated learning, or how we go about upgrading your mental software. All right, so now that our biological engine is well rested, it's time to upgrade how we actually put information into our brains. Let me ask you a highly relatable question. Why does studying feel so incredibly hard sometimes? If you've ever felt totally frustrated trying to wrap your head around a complex topic, you probably felt like you were failing. But here's the secret. That struggle is actually a scientifically proven necessity if you want real retention.
The key concept here is something called desirable difficulty. A desirable difficulty is basically a learning method that makes your practice feel way harder in the moment. It makes it feel like you're learning much slower, but it vastly improves your long-term recall. So struggling isn't failing at all. It's a desirable difficulty that's building much deeper, stronger neural connections than you'd ever get from just easy, mindless repetition.
Let's compare 2 common study methods to show you what I mean. When we use blocked practice, which is just repeating the exact same skill over and over again, we get this false sense of fluency. You kind of settle into a robotic rhythm and it becomes a crutch. Interleaving, on the other hand, means you're constantly mixing up your practice with entirely different types of problems. Now, I won't lie, it definitely feels a lot more frustrating in the moment, but the data shows that mixing problem types gives you a massive 76% better long-term retention. It snaps your brain out of autopilot and ensures you actually understand what you're doing.
To speed up this mastery even more, we can leverage the DISSSS framework, which was popularized by Tim Ferriss. It stands for Deconstruction, Selection, Sequencing, and Stakes. First, you deconstruct a complex skill into the absolute smallest building blocks possible. Next, you select the vital 20% of those elements that are going to give you 80% of your overall results. Then, you sequence them in a logical order so you avoid early failure points. And finally, this is the fun part, you set stakes. Think real, meaningful consequences, like betting a friend cash that you'll pass an exam. That'll keep you highly motivated for sure.
Hand in hand with that, we've got Scott Young's principles of ultra-learning. The 4 major pillars here are directness, retrieval, feedback, and experimentation. The one that completely blew my mind is retrieval. Studies actually show that actively testing yourself from memory outperforms passive reading by nearly 50%. If you just force yourself to retrieve the information before you even feel fully confident, you're going to build up that knowledge incredibly fast.
Next up in our learning stack, AI tutors and education, and how we're leveraging technology.
Generative AI in education is a fascinating double-edged sword right now. On the plus side, the potential here is totally revolutionary. We're talking highly personalized learning paths, incredibly inclusive accessibility, and on-demand tutors that are ready to help you 24/7. But we have to balance that against some very real, stark hurdles. We've got to navigate the tricky waters of bias and misinformation sneaking into AI answers, plus we have to deal with data privacy risks, and of course, avoid becoming so over-reliant on automation that we lose the essential human touch of teaching. To tackle that big issue of misinformation head-on, the tech industry is leaning heavily into RAG architecture, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. So instead of an AI just blindly guessing an answer based on its old static training data, a RAG system actually goes out and fetches real context directly from updated, curated academic databases before it even answers you. It basically grounds the AI in reality, making it a much safer, highly accurate tool to add to your learning stack.
All right, moving on to level 3, the 30, 60, 90-day plan for executing your career vision.
So, with our minds biologically rested and completely enhanced by technology, let's step straight into career execution. Imagine you're taking on a big new professional challenge. Those first 30 days, that's your learning phase. You need to be a total sponge, just observing and asking a ton of questions. As you hit day 60, you shift into the implementing phase. This is where you step up, take ownership, and start executing strategies based on what you learned. Then, by the 90-day mark, you've evolved into the optimizing phase. You're fully integrated, you're fine-tuning the workflow, and you're leading with fresh innovations. But look, to make that 90-day timeline actually work in the real world, your plan needs rigorous structure. The magic is in the details. You got to have SMART goals. You need specific key performance indicators. You need crystal clear top priorities, exact step-by-step actions, and built-in feedback loops. Nailing down these essential elements is what takes a vague, fuzzy aspiration like doing a good job and transforms it into measurable, undeniable professional success.
And that brings us to our final section, monetize your skills fast, turning all of this mastery into actual income.
We have officially reached the final stage of our optimization protocol. This is where we take all that deep learning and flawless execution and translate it directly into economic value. Looking ahead to 2026, there are some massively high-demand freelance opportunities out there. For instance, you could jump into data dashboard creation, taking complex data and making it visual and actionable for companies. Or what about brand content strategy, helping professionals grow their online presence? There's also huge value in AI automation setup, literally building chatbots that save businesses thousands of hours in labor. You could even look into digital product packaging, turning an expert's raw knowledge into a polished, sellable course. Or you could step in as a digital presence manager for local businesses. Listen, if you take your new ultra-learning skills and master just one of these areas, you are solving incredibly expensive problems for businesses. And trust me, they will gladly pay you for it. We have covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the deep biology of sleep, the cognitive science of interleaving, the incredible power of RAG AI, and how to flawlessly execute a 90-day career plan. So now the ball is entirely in your court. I want to leave you with this challenge. How are you going to apply this ultimate optimization protocol to your own life today? Are you going to finally respect your sleep gate tonight? Will you introduce a little desirable difficulty to your studying tomorrow? The tools for total human optimization are right here in front of you. Now it's time for you to go build.